We're talking winter colour today on Pots and Trowels, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, here we are on a cold winter's January day. Beautiful blue sky, but very frosty. And I've come to RHS Harlow Carr in Harrogate to look at the winter garden. And the person that knows more about it than anybody is crouching down looking at these amazing snowdrops is Russ. Russ Watkins. Hi, Russ.
Hi, Martin. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Bit cool in the shade.
It is
though,
a bit cold today,
yes.
yeah,
So,
proper wintry.
These are very early, aren't they, these snowdrops?
Yeah, it's a really good one. This is Glanthus Mrs. McManara. And today they're looking a bit sad because it is so cold. But these have been flowering since about the 14th of December.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they will go through right away till February at least.
And it's quite a big flower as well.
It is a big one, yeah, and it does really well for us, this one. It's bulked up a lot very quickly. So I've been able to dig it up and move it around as well.
Yeah, no, it's good to have it planted underneath. So one of the famous borders at Harlow Carr that you're responsible for in your team is the winter border. So can we have a look at it and look at some of the plants that are looking good at this time of the year?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. The Daphnes are looking really good, aren't they? So what's this one, Russ?
This is Daphne Peter Smithers. And what's nice about this one is you've got the dark buds and then it comes out with a paler flower. So it's one of my favourites actually.
And even today, it's probably only just above freezing.
Yeah.
It is still quite scented,
yeah, I
isn't
can smell it from here.
Yeah. And I was here last week on a warmer day and you could smell them all through the garden.
That's right.
What you've done on the borders here is you've mixed flower, foliage, stems, but it looks good all year round, but particularly at this time of the year.
Yeah. Anything from sort of now all the way till April is its peak, I would say. And like you say, I've got a mix of different things and about 10 or 12 different varieties of Daphnes now, which are all spaced around the winter walk. So as you walk along, in theory, you always get a bit of their scent.
Right. And you get it quite cold here, you know, in North Yorkshire on the edge of the Dale.
Yeah.
So these are pretty tough.
Yeah. They've withstand probably about 10 years now. I think I had 1 year where they got hit quite hard and I had to prune them a little bit. But all in all, they've been really good.
Okay, yeah. Not easy to propagate, are they? That's
very difficult, so it makes them a bit expensive.
It does, but
they're worth it.
You're worth it, definitely. Yeah. Shall we go and look at some of the lovely dogwoods?
Yeah,
because they're amazing, aren't they? I just love it how you've got them in drifts.
Yeah.
They are so colourful, aren't they, these dogwoods?
They're fantastic, yeah. You can't beat them for that really vivid colour, I think.
No, they're good. And this is probably one of the nicest I've seen. And this is a new one to me. I know it's been around for a while, but I've never seen it until I saw it here recently. So tell us about this particular one.
So this is Cornus sanguinea Annie. And you're right, it is a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more vigorous, I've found, than, say, the Midwinter Fire, which is a little bit more common, but still fantastic.
Yeah.
But you can see what a great show it puts on. They're really striking, aren't they?
And what do you do with these? Because you've tended to got them around the garden. You've got Annie here, you've got yellowy green ones. You've got quite a big collection of them.
Yeah, quite a few different ones. I think probably 10. And they all get treated slightly differently, to be honest. Whenever I plant one, I always give it 3 years to get its feet in, because in theory, after that, it's going to potentially have lots of pruning, isn't it? All the sanguinea ones, like the Annie or Midwinter Fire, will pretty much prune every year, because they really need that hard prune for the vibrant colour.
And so this is all 1 year's growth, isn't it?
Right,
so this would have been cut down, what, end of
March, beginning of April.
Oh, so you'll be, another couple of months you'll be in here pruning them down.
Exactly, just as the leaves break is when we take them down.
And that gets better colour, doesn't it? You get that vibrant colour.
Yeah, whereas the others, like you mentioned, the greens and the reds and the blacks, they tend to keep their colour for a really long time. So we play about with those. Sometimes we might leave them 3 years and you get a bit more height then. But I never really leave them more than 3 years. Because then they seem to struggle a little bit.
They take a while to recover.
Exactly.
And have you ever tried the method that I know one or two people say, because some people are quite shocked at when you say cut these down to ground level. They go, I can't do that.
That's right.
But they do recover.
Yeah.
Whereas some people say, well, just cut 50% of the stems out and then next year take the other. And I've never really tried it with that much success.
No, I haven't. The only time I've done that really is if I've got a plant that's a bit weak and it's not really thriving. But in my experience, when I have tried it on other plants, is you don't the growth that you're supposed to get to that spring comes through quite weak. Because all the other stuff that you've left is taking
Crowding it out, isn't it? Yeah.
The dominance.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I prefer to, when I do take them down, take them right the way down.
Treat them
all
mean,
of it.
eh?
Yeah.
Just
Mean. Yeah. And then they come back.
Very satisfying, isn't it? Cutting dogwoods down to ground level.
It is. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So
very.
excellent. Evergreens as well. Let's go and have a look at some of the evergreens because
Okay.
they're there all year round and are amazing. They
Yes.
really are.
Yeah. So like you say, we do have quite a lot of evergreens on the winter walk as well. And this is one of the really nice ones. It's Mahonia media winter sun. And this is almost like one of the shrubs that starts the winter walk off for winter, because the flowers sort of come through in November. Obviously, as you can see, we're in January and there's still a few left. And then from then on, everything starts to pick up the pace and get more interesting.
So you're getting colour really in your winter borders from late autumn, aren't you? Right the way through to late spring.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
covering
that's
a
right.
long period.
Oh
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. It's probably almost 6 months, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Harlow Carr, synonymous with heathers.
Yes,
Because you've got these soil and the winter flowering heathers, which are again not in full flower yet, bit frosted, but they're great because they'll carry on into Maytime.
Yeah, yeah. What I love about all the different ericas, so there's the Erica carneas, obviously, and the Darliensis. I slightly prefer the Darliensis because I think they've got a slightly longer flowering time. But what I really find valuable about a lot of them is you can get those really strong colours, like, you know, the magentas and the deep pinks and stuff, which are colours that are quite hard to find really in winter if you think about it from other plants. So they're very useful.
And a good source of nectar for early bees, of course, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah.
And one that I've never grown it in the garden, but I remember it from my college days.
Oh, right.
Cryptomeria here.
Yeah, I
Japonica.
love this.
These conifers, they are amazing, aren't they? They really
Yeah.
are, because they change colour the colder it gets.
Well, funny you should say that, because when I do tours of the winter walk, I always refer to them as the colour changers.
Right.
So when I was young, growing up in the 90s, it was really fashionable to have colour changing t-shirts.
Right.
And you'd have, say, a blue t-shirt.
I missed that one.
Did you miss it? You'd have a blue t-shirt, but when you got hot, it would go green, say.
Right.
And that's how I always talk about the cryptomerias to people, because in the growing season, you know, they're green. If it's quite wet, there can be quite a vibrant green. But the colder it gets and the more extreme the weather becomes, the more bronzy purple they go. So that's why I refer to them as colour changes.
Yeah, they are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
And what about size? I mean, is that going to get much bigger, do you think? Could you grow that in a sort of medium-sized garden, or is it going to get huge?
Well, I've got one in my garden actually, and I've started to trim it every other year.
Okay.
So it still looks quite natural, but it isn't getting too big.
Right, okay.
They will get big
Yeah.
eventually. In fact, when I planted them 12 years ago, I didn't quite realise how big, how quick they'd get. But that's 12 years from about knee height.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
not really fast, I don't
No,
think.
and you can manage it and keep it under control.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is prune it over the top, make it look like a lollipop.
No,
But
try and keep it natural.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got these lovely winter walks here. We've got stem colours, we've got flowering plants, we've got evergreens, you've got trees like the lovely birch with the white trunks on them, which are amazing. So this is a dedicated winter garden within the bigger garden.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. So if you've just got an ordinary sized garden, what would you do? Just say mix a few of these in to give that
Yeah,
colour all year
absolutely.
round?
Yeah, just sort of dot them around your garden. You know, think about when you're laying out your garden or planting it, you know, trees that might have a nice bark or be evergreen like this, and, you know, throwing in a few of the corners, particularly the sanguinea types, which we mentioned before. You know, they don't take up so much space, but they really pop with colour. And then a few heathers or hellebores and things like that, you know, dotted through the garden with other evergreens, ferns maybe, and things like that.
Yeah.
It can be, you know, you can get a lot of colour in your garden winter very easily.
Yeah. And I just think if you've got that colour, it tempts you to go outside and it's just uplifting.
Absolutely.
You know, herbaceous perennials are lovely, but they die down in the winter. But
That's right.
this is here all year round. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
It is really lovely. And on a day like today, Russ, it's a pleasure to be walking through the borders. So
Yeah,
thank you for
good.
the tour.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
you.
So good when they've got a bit of sunshine
They
on
do,
them as
don't
well.
they? They really light up,
And the
yeah.
heathers are just starting, those white ones
Yeah,
as
it's new, but it's already looking really good, that
Yeah.
one.
Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels. And if you want to find out a little bit more about the winter garden here at Harlow Carr, then listen to our next podcast, because I'll be chatting to Russ in a bit more detail. Until next time, goodbye.